Mickey Link Distributing and Miller Beer, made the American way. Tastes great. No, less filling. It's time for the gents. This is a gent himself, Jim Skirvin. Super nice gentleman, 36 years of age, from Covington, KY.
Yeah, Jim works down at the Bowl Lounge. Jim says he's a bartender down at the Bowl Lounge here, Nick. So he must get in a few games every once in a while.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that'd be an interesting thing to do. I don't know if I could ever be a bartender. I like to sit around and shoot the bull too much.
Yeah, really.
Now here's Jerry Lee Iles. Now he's the only guy on the tube today who's got any TV experience. He was on a couple years ago back at LaRue and finished first.
The handicap this game, Nick, Jerry gets 27 pins and Jim gets 21. So Jim has given Jerry a spot of 6 pins starting out.
Jerry's 35 years of age. He also lives in Covington. He's been bowling for 13 years. Jerry averages 180. Let's see what he can do.
It says here that he bowled a 299. That's his high game, 299, and he received a ABC ring for that. Very nice award.
Let's see what the Skirv man can do.
Jerry's taking an early lead.
Now our tournament's 10 weeks long, and then all the winners come back for the last week, which will be our finals. So we got plenty of time to take part of this now.
That's right. We want those people to come out and try to qualify. March 8th and 9th down at Waltz Center Lanes. Squads 11:30, 1, 2:30, and 4. So come on out. It's a lot of fun, believe me.
Jim Skirvin from Covington. Likes to play a lot of softball. There it is.
2 good mixing balls by Jim. That's what you got to do. You got to give that ball a chance out there. A light hit seems to be carrying. Both the bowlers are playing around the second area, around the 10th board. Ooh.
Boy, that's ugly.
That's a tough one again. A 4, 7, 9, 10. You got to hit that 4 just on the left side. Slide it into the 9 and the 10. Difficult shot.
Well, what's the odds of making that?
That's probably about 25 to 1.
That's for a pro bowler, of course.
Yeah, maybe a little less for them, but for the average bowler, about 25 to 1. Good ball by Jerry. You got a bad break there. Jerry doesn't waste much time either, does he, Nick? He gets up there and he's ready to go.
Yeah, what I like about Jerry's style is when he throws the ball, he walks back and shrugs them shoulders. Shrug them shoulders. There you go. Let's see what Jimmy can do. He's working on 2. We're looking for our first turkey or triple of the year.
This would be it.
Jimmy, nice and delivered. There's the ball. Mark it down, baby.
3 nice shots in a row by Jim. Once he got over that first frame, I think that first one's just a tough one, Nick. They just got to get it out of their system.
Here's another look at it.
Right in the 1-3, and all the pins doing their job.
In the 5th, Jim Skirvin working on 3, looking for a break.
The old Brooklyn.
He loves it. We're halfway through our first match here. The men here at the Super Bowl Lanes in Erlanger, Kentucky. Jim Skirvin on top of Jerry Lee, but we still got plenty of paper left. We'll be back with the finals right after this. We're back. Jerry Lee Iles. You know, he bowls in the Monday night's men's social league. You know, for some reason, I think the name fits that league. Here's Jerry. Well, that's the second time he's hit a 5-pin just staring him straight in the face.
Yeah, the ball's just not quite filling the pocket up all the way. Jerry needs to make just a slight move to the right, I believe.
Jerry also enjoys fishing.
Jerry's going to have to start striking here. Jim with that 4 in a row has got about a 32-pin lead. So Jerry's going to have to start to string them together.
Boy, he lost that ball.
Yeah, a little bit quick. A little ahead of the ball, Nick. Didn't get the ball where he wanted to. He got it out to the right too far. Chopped it.
Well, Jim, it looks like if he puts another 1 or 2 together, he's just going to be able to coast.
And he's got a pretty commanding lead right now.
If he can just stay out of trouble.
And he's close.
That's the way to stay out of trouble.
Ball didn't finish quite enough.
You know, the Super Bowl will also be hosting this tournament again this year. They got it 2 weeks. Qualifying for that will be March 29th and March 30th.
I have Jim ahead by about 45 pins now, Nick, depending on the count on this frame. Let's see, the Super Bowl, they're going to have the pro tournament here again, too, aren't they, in August?
Yeah, that's right. Starting on August 8th, the Senior Touring Pros Doubles Tournament comes to town, the $130,000. So I think that's, you know, our contract for doing this show.
Yeah, that'll be nice at touring doubles. Man, maybe I'll have a shot at that. Maybe I can come over here and bowl on that one. I think they're going to open it up for some of the local bowlers, so it'd be nice.
Yeah, I was thinking about trying to sneak into junior division.
Nice spare for Jim. Seen a lot of difficult spare shots today. You leave the 3, 4, and 5 pins. Those are difficult spares. Anything can happen.
Give him a break.
Jerry might be just a little bit hard with that ball. It's just not quite finishing enough. That one came flying out of the pit to try and get the 7.
This is when it gets tough. I mean, Jerry's frustrated. Hasn't had really any breaks to speak of. He's left a couple 5 pins that, if they were X's, they could have turned the whole tide.
There's a good break.
Better late than never. He's got a good sense of humor about it, saying, watch out.
Jerry said he's ready now.
Here's Jim Skirvin. He bowls in the Wednesday Major League over at Bowl Lounge and the Monday Major at Dixie.
Another good shot by Jim. Jim's leading by about 51 with 2 frames to go.
Don't forget, next week's qualifier will be at Walt Center Lanes. Get out there and get on the tube. We love to see your face. Here's the Skirv in the 9th. Get out of there.
That's 6 out of 9 for Jim. 6 strikes out of 9 deliveries. There's Jerry.
Our high qualifier this week is Scott Clore, sitting on top, just waiting to bowl.
Down at Bowl Lounge in the men's division, Brad Myers, the leading qualifier so far. Brad had an 813 scratch and an 831 with his handicap. Nick, that's a heck of a score.
It should hold up.
I would think so.
There is a good chance we will see Brad next week. See, Jerry can go out with a 192.
Also down there at the Bowl Lounge, Bob Williams is in 2nd place with a 774, and John Handy is 3rd with a 755. So that's the early leaders for next week.
The Skirv's on a pretty good pace. There's the shot. Mark it down, baby. He's on a 264 pace.
Excellent game. He has the strikes working. There's a replay of it. Right in the 1-3. You can't throw it any better than that, Nick.
That looks awfully easy. That's one of the frustrating things about doing this show, because I see this and it gets me all excited. Then I go out to bowl. Somehow it just doesn't look the same to me.
Well, what you need to do is practice more then. It's the only way you can bowl good is keep practicing.
I knew there's an element in my game I was missing. See, that's why you're hired for expert commentary.
That practice makes perfect. What a spare here. Jim's got 252.
Jim Skirvin, 252 to Jerry Iles, 192. Big Jim's going to move on to the finals to meet Scott Clore in week number 1 of the Northern Kentucky BPA Merit Tournament here at the Super Bowl Lanes in Erlanger, Kentucky. We'll be back with the finals. This is a Ron E. Lawson Northern Kentucky Programming Network television production. There's a look at our beautiful banner, the Northern Kentucky BPA Merit Tournament, brought to you by Mickey Link Distributing. Don't forget to catch our finals on the playback. You can see the times right there. Sunday at 7, Monday at 2:30, Wednesday 3:30, Thursday at 7:30. Qualifyings.
11:30, 1, 2:30, and 4, Saturdays and Sundays.
Get out there. Qualifying next week will be at Waltz Center Lanes. Give your BPA Merit Tournament qualifier this week. Again, it's at Waltz Center Lanes. Give them a call, 431-2464. 431-2464. Get on the tube.
Don't miss the fun.
It's prime time. PT.
Here we go for the championship this week. And the first prize, Nick's $160, second $120, and third place $80 for this week.
Jim Skirvin coming off at 252.
A little bit late, but close.
Skirvin in qualifying rolled a 230, 200, and 245 for a 675 scratch plus handicap for a 738. There's a shot. Skirv averaging 186 for the conversion.
Well, we got a second here, Nick. We ought to give a plug. We got Frank Cito from the Mickey Link Distributing Company. He's the sales manager sitting in our audience today, along with Bob and Maureen Snodgrass. Bob's the operations manager here. Taking in the action.
Here's Scott Clore, his first appearance on the tube, 29 years of age from Burlington, Kentucky. There's a nice opening ball on the tube. That's got to make you feel good.
Get that first one over. That's his first shot ever on television. You know that ball weighed about 30 or 40 pounds.
Oh, yeah. Scott's married to Sonia. They have 2 children, Chad and Craig. He's only been bowling 2 years. I mean, it's a perfect example that this tournament's for everyone. There's Scott. There it is. Mark it down, baby.
Scott's average is 148, and there, like you said, Nick, is proof that anyone can make it here. Go out and qualify, and everyone has a shot. The high average, the low average bowler. It makes no difference when it's your day, it's your day.
Here's Jim Skirv, the Skirv man. Hit a little high, but tripped to 7.
Yeah, Skirv's got a lot of ground to make up here. He's got difference in the handicap, 55 for Scott and 21 for Jim. That's a 34 pin differential starting out, and Scott's off with a double.
It's got to be tough. There's no defense in this game, but you hate to watch your opponent because you got enough to worry about.
That's right. You only can worry about your own game. Pretty close.
Skirv, some hobbies of him. He likes to play a lot of softball. He likes to throw darts. This is a true story. I did my final speech in college on how to throw darts. And after I was done, this is a great story, so you're not going to cut me off. I'm going to tell you it. For the conversion. Anyway, so I finished the speech. I said, well, the only thing left to do is just a little showing off. And I hung a dartboard up and moved the class and split it in half, kind of like the Red Sea. And I threw the dart. And it's a true story. I missed the dartboard, hit the blackboard. The dart fell down, hit the ledge, flipped off the ledge into the garbage can. That was the difference between an A and an F. No, it did drop me letter grade. That's the honest truth. Here's Scott working on a pair.
He's increased his lead from the spot by about 7 pins here.
Look at the concentration. For a second-year bowler, Scott really has that concentration, Rick.
Yeah, he's taking his time. He's lining things up, and he looks to he's in the right spot for the spare. He shot it the way he should have, and he's learning. You know, this is, like he said, he's only been bowling 2 years, and he's learning. This is another big learning experience today.
Watch out. You know, Scott said something kind of funny, asking what kind of bowler he is. Spot, line, or pin. He said, spot, I usually hit the second mark. I mean, that's something I would say. I usually try to hit somewhere between the 5th and the 15th board.
Yes, when you learn, that's the arrow to start to key off of the second. There's a spare. As you get more proficient at the game, then you learn to move, play the different arrows. But Scott's a beginner, and he's right on that second arrow.
Well, Skirv's got some room to make up, but he can only bowl his game. We're in the 4th. Plenty of paper left.
Looks good.
Rounding out the top 10 this week, the number 4 place finisher was Michael Cole. The number 5 place finisher was Michael Warner. Number 6 place finisher was John Combs Jr. Number 7 was Dan Miller. Number 8 was Rick Brake. Number 9, Earl Lenhoff. And number 10, Larry Miller. The Skirv, there it is. Mark it down.
Hey, he's starting to cut into the lead now.
A lot of new names in there this year.
The load of cash for the men was $639 here at Super Bowl, and for the women, $635. That's with your handicap.
Scott in the 5th.
I have Scott up by about 18 pins after 4 frames, so with that double, Jim has cut into the lead.
Scott in qualifying rolled his highest game ever, 263, then finished out with a 154 and a 158 for 575 scratch plus handicap for 740. Tell you, he's getting the job done.
Yeah, he's making those spares. It's important, especially for the lower average bowler. You fill those frames, and boy, you can make up a lot of pins. Of course, those strikes help too, especially when you string them together.
Here's Scott. He's been staying out of trouble so far.
Got the 3-5-6. Try and hit this and cover them all with the ball. Like I said earlier, you leave up those 3, 4, and 5 pin spares. It's difficult because there's many ways to miss them. You can chop them, slide by them. On that shot there, Nick, Scott should have shot that from the left-hand side of the lane. It would have increased his chances of making that spare. Shoot cross lane.
See what the Skirv can do. It's working on 2. Needs it to cut into the lead. Get a break.
Spare here, and Jim would be 3 pins behind Scott.
Jim looks good, man. For a big guy, he's really getting down low at the line, taking his time, throwing a
Nice and easy.
Nice and
Easy delivery. Doesn't look like he's got any effort involved. Just lets the ball go.
Fits his personality. Just an easy going.
Yeah.
Just happy to be here kind of guy.
The Jim throws the ball nice. He's a 186 average bowler. You can tell by watching him. Nice and easy. Ooh. That's the first real bad ball that he's thrown. Jim pulled that way over to the left of the head pin. He's got a very difficult spare now. 4-6-10, or 5-6-10 rather. You have to fit it up perfectly.
Things are starting to even out here a little bit. Let's see how Scott can respond to the pressure of Jim coming back.
Scott has the advantage now, if he can start to mark here.
Scott is he's self-employed. He's a farmer.
From down around Burlington.
That's right. See what he can do. There it is.
Beautiful shot.
Pressure shot at that.
Yeah.
There's that pressure shot again.
There's that replay. Look at that.
Get out of there, you knucklehead.
Beautiful ball. So we go to the ninth, and Scott's got the advantage with that big strike. So this is in the 8th frame. Scott's up by about 18 pins if he marks.
Scott the creeper. Let's see what he can do. He's making it tough.
18-pin advantage. Jim has 3 frames to go and Scott 2, and Jim's going to have to start to strike, it looks like.
See what the Skirvin can do. There it is.
Ooh, bad break. That was a good ball. He just got a bad break there. The 6-pin went right around the 10. Nothing you can do about that, Jim. That's just a bad break.
There's a 10-pin standing him straight in the face. It's a must.
Yeah, Jim can't throw him any better than that. That was a beautiful ball. That's what's peculiar about this game. You can throw them where you want, and they just don't fall sometimes. Oh. That miss hurts.
See, when I bowl by myself, I would count this.
You play one bounce, huh?
That's right. I'd play 2 if I could do it.
Jim's going to have to strike out, I think, to have any kind of a shot here.
He needs an X. No doubt about it. Big ball in the 9th. Skirv.
With a spare here, and if he would strike out in the 10th, he could get a possibility of 214, where Scott is sitting with the possibility of shooting anywhere from 250 on down. So Scott definitely has the advantage.
Well, Scott stepping up right now controls his own fate.
Yeah, Mark in either frame will get us there. Scott will be the winner.
Don't forget about the BPA Merit Tournament qualifier this week. It'll be at Waltz Center Lanes. Holler at them, 431-2464, or just go over and show up with your ball. Scott in the 9th controls his own fate. The creeper from Burlington. Let's see. Well, we've seen it. What, 2-3 times, haven't we?
3 times. Spare here just about solidifies it for Scott. He's up 26 pins. Now it's not over yet.
Let's see. It looks like if Scott gets a mark here in the 10th, it'll be over.
It needs a spare and 8 to shut Jim out. He can shoot 227 yet with 3 strikes, and Jim can only get 214. So it's down to the 10th frame. He needs a mark to definitely shut him out. Ooh, and that's a tough spare. The 1, 2, 7, 8. Got to hit it on the left of the head pin so you can carry them all, but not too far. You leave that daggone 8 pin back there. This is a tough spare.
Pressure. It's a good looking shot.
.206 for Scott with his handicap.
So let's see, what's the
Jim
Skirvin?
needs the first 2.
Exactly.
Jim needs the first 2, and then in almost any kind of a count. So
First 2 and 3.
think about that first one first. That's the one you got to get first. You can't think too far ahead.
In the 10th, the Skirv.
Looks good.
He's in the area.
He needed that one.
Yeah.
Nothing he can do. He threw the ball good. Right, look at this.
What
Right,
happened here?
1-3. 6 pin just laid in the gutter. It just didn't kick out. It's just a bad break. That's what I mean, Nick. Sometimes you just never know. The pins just react differently. Maybe he threw that ball just a hair harder. Didn't roll it quite as good as the other balls, and the 6 pin just sort of laid in the gutter there. Not as much roll as he needed.
Let's see, Jim can finish with a 2-0-2. But the winner in the men's match is Scott Clore with a 206 to Jim Skirvin 202. So Scott Clore and Millie Elliott are big winners in week 1 here in 1986 of the Northern Kentucky BPA Merit Tournament at the Super Bowl Lanes in Erlanger, Kentucky. We'll be back with the fun stuff, and that's handing out the money to these folks. They've worked real hard for it all week. And also, Rick will have a few interviews with our bowlers to see that get their things on the tournament today. We'll be back right after this. The Northern Kentucky BPA Merit Tournament is brought to you by Mickey Link Distributing, distributors of Miller Beer, made the American way. Well, week 1 is now history of the Northern Kentucky BPA Merit Tournament. We're at the Super Bowl Lanes and in the 1986 season, and it's just hard to believe that the year's already here. I'm standing next to Bob Snodgrass, our operations manager here, Bob, and week 1, we're already back.
Yes, and it's great. And we're looking forward to having the tournament back again, and of course on Easter weekend too. We had some real fine ladies bowling here today, and first time they're smiling because now they're going to get their checks. Let's start out with Paula. Paula, battle the left-handers, somebody has to lose. Congratulations. There you are. There's second place check for you, Darlene.
Thank you.
And the champion for the first week, Millie, congratulations, a fine champion.
And on my left is Frank Cinto, the sales manager here. I know you kind of rolled in a little late, but I understand in the business you're in. But what'd you think?
I think it was a good tournament, and this is our first year of sponsorship, and hopefully we'll have a lot more to come.
Well, we're glad to have you. Pass out that long dollar.
Yeah. You go, Jerry. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Oh, you want the check?
Yeah.
There we go. Jim, congratulations.
Thank you.
and our champion for the men this week, Scott. Congratulations.
Thanks, Frank. Well, let me get my partner in crime here, Rick. This is the time, I know it's your first year with us and we're glad to have you, but this is the time that you get to go around and ask all the bowlers and give them little tips.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you. Well, Paula, how did you like your first experience here?
Oh, nervous. Real nervous.
Huh?
Oh,
You threw the ball real nice.
Thanks.
Only lost by 2 pins. Just seemed like you couldn't get the ball off the nose.
Yeah, that's why I moved and I just couldn't get it in there.
It's tough with the cameras going, isn't it?
Oh, it
But
is.
you bowled real nice.
Okay,
Thank you much. Darlene, how about you? Were you a little nervous out there today?
A little bit.
But you seemed to come through okay. You won that first game, and then you ran up against a Tiger there that last game.
Yeah.
A few more spares, you could have been the winner.
Probably.
But you did a nice job, too. Let's see what Mellie's got to say here. She's the old veteran. You won, I understand, was it last year? You were the winner the year before.
I ended up second last year and first the year before.
Boy, that's a heck of a record. But you seemed to, nothing bothered you. 222?
I was very nervous. This year my fingers didn't swell up though.
But you did a good
I was
job.
nervous.
All of you ladies did a credible job. It was
Thank
fun
you.
watching you. Thank you very much. Let's go over here and see what the fellas have to say. Jerry, tough break at Jim threw a lot of strikes at you. What do you think when you started throwing all those strikes?
I don't know what. He's just tough, man. I tell you.
He's just tough, huh?
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he
pretty
threw a
good.
lot of good strikes, and
Yeah,
not much you can do.
Nah, not much.
You seemed a little nervous to start out with, but then you
Always.
seemed to loosen up.
Always, yeah.
Pleasure having you.
Thank you.
See with Jim, awful good game there.
Thank you.
252 with your handicap. You had the ball working. What about the last game? What happened?
Just couldn't get any breaks last game, huh?
He left a couple 10
10
pins. Yeah, 6 pins seemed to hang up in the gutter, and one kissed the
Didn't
10
want to come out
down.
and kiss it off.
Yeah, but you bowled awful nice. We'll be
Thank you.
seeing you, I'm sure,
I
again.
hope so.
Let's see what Scott's got to say. First time ever, huh, Scott?
Yes, sir.
How'd you like that?
Yeah.
Different
I enjoyed
experience?
it. Yes, it
Here,
was.
step over this way so they can see you a little. How'd you like that experience, though?
I like it a lot.
You ready to come back again?
Sure.
Okay, we'll be seeing you too. But you bowled awful nice. This only your
Thank
second
you.
year bowling, is that right?
Yes, sir.
You did an awful fine job. And you're our winner the first week. I'm going to turn this back to Nick.
Thanks a lot, Rick. Good job first time out. Next week, qualifier will be at Waltz Center Lanes. Get out. We want to see you on the tube. Also, we'll be taping next week at the Bowl Lounge. Now, we tape at 9 o'clock in the morning, so it's you just got to get up and roll out of bed. That's all there is to it. We want to see you out there. We enjoy doing this show. This week we're at the Super Bowl Lanes, and we certainly want to thank Mickey Link Distributing, distributors of Miller Beer and Miller Light. Miller made the American way, and light beer, boy, it tastes great, and it's less filling too. We love it. From the Super Bowl Lanes in Erlanger, Kentucky, so long, and we'll see you next week.